Problems. I had problems all around me, all the time. I was brought up in an environment that suggests there's problems all over the place. I lived in the projects in Alphabet City in Manhattan, and even though I was brought up and raised with Pentecostal Christians, my father and mother, I was totally involved in what the world was offering. It was nothing of tragedy that happened in my life. It was just more of an emptiness in my life. Because though I had all the amenities, if you will, in life, I felt empty. And the joys of life was only but for a fleeting moment. And so I always had to find myself trying to get those feelings back. And of course, it had to involve with the lust of the flesh and drugs and all those sorts of things that came into my life because I needed something to sustain me. And that caused a lot of problems in my life. From being disobedient, to promiscuous, to violent, to anger, to even almost murder. So when I say rock bottom, that's where I felt, I said, this ain't doing it anymore. And I need something that's gonna truly transform my life. It was a gradual experience, as if like you don't even know that you're in it until you know that you're in it. It's almost as the prodigal son when he went and took his stuff and lived a life of lavishness as he saw it in his mind. But soon he realized, gradually, he was missing a whole lot. And that's something that I experienced in my life. So that's the wonderful part about when you hear the knock of God on your heart. I vividly think about that when Christ says he comes and knocks at the door, and whoever opens the door, he will come in and sup with him. And that's what began to happen with me. He knocked on my heart, and I was not rebellious anymore. I was willing to listen now. And I wanted to hear more. And I wanted to fall in love with the one who died for me again. And I allowed that process. And as I continued to look for him, I grew. Because when we in the Word, as it says, it builds our faith. And the more we in the Word, our faith grows and gets established. And that's in essence what happened to me in my journey. And I found that the sweetest place to be is in God's presence. It doesn't have to be nowhere but in God's presence. I could be alone in a room by myself, and I know that I am completely covered in God's love. And that's something that the world could never, ever offer me. Relating to the Word, when in John, when it says in the beginning was the Word and the Word was with God, you soon see in your life how much the love of God is there for us, how much He is willing to lay it all down for His children. And I've learned that how can we not serve such a great God like that, who is always at work. He is not a God who sits on the throne and just gives orders. He's a God who is intertwined with our lives and says, I want to be a part of every experience that you go through in life. And I want it to be to my glory, because ultimately the gospel of Jesus Christ is us being in His story. And that's what we are. We are the byproduct of Jesus Christ's story. And I am glad that I'm in it and that I was created for Him and by Him. And I'm grateful for the opportunity now to be in the house of the Lord, as it says, forever.